Hello and welcome. This video is going to be what sold for me while I was in San Diego, California. I had to put all my stores in vacation mode, which means from October 4th to October 14th, I was really only able to make sales on eBay because it's the only platform I sell on where you can still make sales while your store's in vacation mode. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Poshmark first. So this is basically all I've sold on Poshmark at all this month. Spoiler alert, are these two sales. The first one went to a viewer, Donna, thank you very much. Puffles, who you guys see in the comments section all the time. She bought these Reeboks from me. They are size 9 and they were in amazing shape. I think I got these from a ThredUp box. So Puffles, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy them and I really appreciate how much support you give me here, both on YouTube and then also in my business. So thank you. It means a lot that you continue to support me in all of the ways. So this, you can see, is something that I modeled to try to give, you know, an idea of what it looked like, because on the hanger it looked really sad, if you can tell in this photo. But it actually looked really lovely on. It was this beautiful orange color and it sold for $10. So I basically made like a couple bucks off of this. This was not a great buy. Actually, I made a few more dollars because this actually got for, I believe, $1 at the Smithfield estate sale. So this is actually a pretty decent sale, but still only like $4 or $5 because, you know, Poshmark takes $2.95 from each sale under $15. So still a decent sale, but again, that these two sales are the only two sales I've made on Poshmark since they have made the change in the algorithm again. Plus been pushing these Poshmark shows, like my sales are pretty much done on Poshmark. So hopefully you're doing much better, and maybe it was just because my store has been off for so long. I am starting to cross post again on Poshmark, so maybe things will pick back up. But these are only two sales I made on Poshmark, and now I'm going to share what I sold while I was on vacation on eBay. Also, while I was on vacation in eBay, I finally got the dreaded UI update. So UI stands for user interface update. So I can now no longer show you the full screen picture that I had been doing for all of my other what sold videos. You get this now, because if I try to do what I was doing before, it shows the listed price instead of what it sold for, which is not helpful. This is a Vans Off the Wall tee. This, I believe, I got for free from my friends Carolyn and Ernie. So 100% free to me, so I was perfectly happy to see it let go for $5 and the buyer paid for shipping. This is also from Carolyn and Ernie, so 100% free. This is Lascana for Venus. So Venus is a swimwear brand. It's predominantly sold online, and I'd never heard of this brand before getting this giant windfall of awesomeness from my friends. So again, 100% free, and it sold for my full asking price of $11.87, and the buyer paid $4 for shipping. So maybe not necessarily a brand I would pick up other than at the bins or if it gets donated to me again. This is a brand I will, however, pick up. This is Levi's Men's 560s. I got these at a Goodwill for $8 and they sold for $20. The amount you get for Levi's 560s have definitely gone down in the last year, but you know, I'm still doubling my money, so I'm still gonna pick them up when I get them for a decent price. And these were quite the size, at a size 50x28, and I had them for a few months, which is where I was just like, you know what, $20, that's a good offer, take them. This again is another item from Carolyn and Ernie, so 100% free to me. And this was a Tahari piece. This one was super comfortable and super cute. So I know I have some friends here on YouTube that like to pick up Tahari at the bins. Also will pick up some of the dresses and blazers when they're out sourcing in regular thrift stores. This sold pretty well. It sold for $11. It was 100% free to me because it came from Carolyn and Ernie. So it sold for $11 and the buyer paid for shipping. This is something that was sitting in my clothing death pile for forever. This came from the Air Force retirees house, so I paid less than $1 for this. This was a vintage camo hunting vest and sold when hunting season started. It had some kind of like pack you could store stuff in on the back. I don't know, it's an old school vest. I just put it up what they were going for at the time, and somebody bought it for my full asking price of $14.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. This is also something that came to me in a recent ThredUp shoe box. This is a pair of Lilly Pulitzer gold heels. They sold for my full asking price of $24.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. So I will say that this most recent ThredUp shoe box, half of the shoes have sold by now, which has never happened before. So maybe they're getting better, or maybe I just got, I do feel much more confident, and I did feel much more confident about the box that I got this last time than I had in previous iterations of getting the shoe boxes. So I might get that again. This is actually something I sourced on Whatnot. My friend Matt Thrift-A-Life, who most of you guys know. I try to support my friends when and where I can, and he was doing a Whatnot show selling clothing. And this is a vintage JG Hook piece. You guys know I love selling vintage. And I also had some credits on Whatnot from you guys, you know, signing up for Whatnot as well, which that link is down in the description. So I used the credits that you guys got me to source some inventory from my friends to support their business. So thank you very much for those of you that have signed up through my Whatnot link. Not only are you supporting me and my business, but you're helping me also support my friends and their business. So I appreciate that. So it sold for $12.64. I basically paid $5 for this because I had to pay for shipping myself. So I doubled my money and I got to support my friend. I thought that was awesome. This is a vintage piece I picked up at an estate sale. I paid 50 cents for this skirt. It's just a button front denim skirt. Not really that exciting. Sold for $11.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. I also now have to do it this way. You guys can see if I got feedback or not, which I think is kind of funny. This is a Guy Harvey piece. This might have been sold to a reviewer. I don't know. It said repeat buyer at the bottom of it, so I don't know if someone has just saved my store and they buy their stuff, or if it's someone that actually watches this channel. If so, and you bought this from me, thank you very much. But this is a Guy Harvey X AFCO piece that I bought originally to do the collab I did with Matt, Lotta, Josh, and Amber Resells. And it finally sold many, many months later, and it sold for $9. So I basically doubled my money, and that's it. And the buyer paid for shipping. So AFCO is a great brand. The Guy Harvey AFCO collaborations don't seem to be as strong. This was a recent pickup. I picked up a brand new Abercrombie. I actually picked up two brand new Abercrombie and Fitch polos in different sizes. I paid roughly about $4.50 for them. This one sold for $15, and the buyer paid $5 for shipping. And at the same time I picked up the Abercrombie and Fitch new with tag polos, I also picked up this Tommy Bahama piece. This was a collaboration that Tommy Bahama did with the MLB, specifically the Boston Red Sox, not the Red Hots, Red Sox. Red Hots are candy. And it sold for $18 on an offer, and the buyer paid for shipping. I don't know how I got this purse. I don't know if I picked this up at the bins, or if I picked it up at a estate sale, or if this is something that Carolyn and Ernie gave me. I legitimately have no idea how I got this purse, so I either paid $4 for this purse all the way to nothing. Either way, I made money on it. So it sold for my full asking price of $14.87, and the buyer paid $6 for shipping. Again, I honestly have no idea how I got it, but it sold it and I made money on it, so yay. This is another piece I had picked up during that collaboration video I did with Matt, Lotta, Josh, and Amber Resells, and this is a Peter Millar piece. This is actually one of my last Peter Millar pieces that I've picked up in a while. I have one more, but pretty much all of my Peter Millar pieces have sold within like 2 months, but then I had two pieces, this one and another one, that have just stayed in my inventory. I don't know why. So even if a brand has high sell-through, that doesn't necessarily mean it is going to sell through. But it sold for my full asking price eventually for $19.87, and the buyer paid $5 for shipping. So still really good. I paid around $4.50 for that shirt for that collaboration. And you know, I got my full asking price on it, so that's pretty nice. This is something I had picked up to do a thrifty treat with, and again, as with a lot of these things that sold before I could get around to filming one of those, because while I do love filming my thrifted treat videos, they do take a long time to do. It's like I basically have to set a whole day aside, and that's all I do is that, So that's why you don't see as many of them as maybe some of you would like. But this was a 70s lemon meringue pie plate with the recipe at the bottom. And it sold on an offer for $10 and the buyer paid $13.50 for shipping. This is something I picked up at the bins. My bins does have books, and it's one of my, that's pretty much the first section I go to whenever I go to a bins, because I also have a book channel, so I'm also picking up a lot of books for myself as well, in addition books to resell. This I picked up for 50 cents because it was a hardcover, and it sold for $4 and the buyer paid $4 for shipping. Some of you guys may not be into that because it's only $3 profit, but to me, media is super fast and easy to list, and again, it's something that I really love, and I don't want those books to go in the landfill. So for me, it's worth it for multiple reasons. But if it's not something you're into, you do you. This is, again, another piece that had been sitting in my death pile for forever. I'm still doing that, guys. I just have to get all the stuff I picked up at this recent estate sale listed, and also all the stuff still from California, and then I'll be working back in my death pile. I'm at 262 pieces out of 1,000, so I still got over 700 of pieces in my house that I need to list. But this sold for $12.87. I've had this for so long, I honestly don't know how much I paid for it or where I got it from. So probably $5 or under, and I doubled my money 3 years later, because I do know that this piece had been sitting in here for at least 2 years, so it's out of my house now and hopefully on somebody, making them very happy. This is that other new Tags Abercrombie shirt that I had picked up recently, and it sold also for $15 and the buyer paid for shipping. So both of these sold within like a week of me listing them. I knew that they would sell pretty quickly, so if you can get something for like $5 or less and it's new with tags and it's still some of these mall brands, Q4 is the best time of year to pick those up, because chances are someone will be getting that for a Christmas gift. This is something I was so grateful when I saw this sale. I've had this skirt for forever. I had originally picked it up for myself to wear. I got this at the Smithfield estate sale, and it's actually just a little bit too big for me. So that's why I decided to go ahead and sell it, and it sold for $12 and the buyer paid for shipping. I did try wearing it once and then like it almost fell off of my waist, so I just kind of let it go. I was like, I can make this work. No, you about flashed everybody. You cannot make this work. We are gonna go ahead and sell this. But it had been listed for like a year before it finally sold, so I'm happy it's gone. This is another pair of shoes from my latest ThredUp shoebox. This is a pair of Naturalizers. They sold for $15 and the buyer paid $10 for shipping. I think the cost breakdown for that box was like $6 a pair of shoes, which is pretty much what I can get shoes for here. So it's just that I don't pick them out, and I've found out that if it's not something I've picked out to resell, I have less of a chance of actually listing it. However, I have kept all my shoes listed now since I did that one thing. I picked the one thing to list and I list all the things, and that has worked for me. So the next item, this is an ornament picked up at the Restore for $1. I do donate the profits from these ornaments to the Chloe Williamsburg Foundation, because that's a foundation that I really believe in and that I support. And then also it feels weird like buying something from a thrift store that's supposed to benefit the foundation and then not give the money to the foundation, if that makes sense. But I paid $1 for a bunch of these, and they've just been slowly, steadily selling. So every time one of these sells, I can donate another $3.50 to the Chloe Williams Foundation, which is kind of nice. And then that's also just a tax write-off, so there's that too. This is something I found in this eBay room when I kind of rearranged everything and shifted everything into a different room so I could make this be a more usable studio slash photographing space. This is something that I had in my office when I worked my 9 to 5. I had this little speaker so that way I could listen to Twitch, listen and watch Twitch on one of my monitors while I was working to keep my sanity. And since I don't work in the office anymore, I don't need the speaker anymore. So I sold it for $4.87. This was free to me. So it's all profit and somebody else gets to use it now. This I have to thank Brett for. Brett, you did not have to do this, and it was very sweet of you, and I hope you like the shirt. While I was away on vacation, he decided to buy this shirt for full price. This is a 90s Space Jam Looney Tunes shirt. It is a 2XL, And again, Brett, this was exceptionally sweet of you. He bought it for full price at $39.87 and paid for shipping. So Brett, again, I do hope you like it. It was incredibly sweet of you to try to support me while I was on vacation, and it really does mean a lot to me. So thank you. And again, I hope you like the shirt. This is an older listing. Again, about a year and a half it took to sell this. This is a Lands' End piece. I will pick up Lands' End and Eddie Bauer and Columbia. Well, some Columbia I'll pick up at any time, but like the Columbia PFG, I'll pick up that at any time. But I will pick up those three outdoor brands. Outdoor wear brands. Wow. Outdoor wear brands at the bins if I find them. I did not find this at the bins. I actually picked this up and paid like $4.50 for it, but I sold it for $12.87, which was my full asking price, so I doubled my money, and the buyer paid for shipping. So really happy about that. Another piece I picked up at the bins, I paid 50 cents for this. It sold for my full asking price of $4.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. And that was actually the last piece, so cool. So that's everything I sold. So it wasn't a whole lot, and this is probably the first time I've had, you know, 25 items sold in 2 weeks, so that wasn't a whole lot of sales. My store has started to pick back up a little bit, but I definitely need to be listing more so I can ramp everything back up. It did help, you know, listing the stuff from California. A lot of that stuff has sold, so hopefully I'll have more sales to share with you in my next video, and until then, bye!